First story. Am I the idiot for telling my boyfriend he can't spend Christmas with me and the kids? My 34F partner, 49 male, absolutely hates Christmas and has ruined it for the past 4 Christmases by being mean. Whether it's moaning about hating the festivities, or saying it's pointless because his family isn't there, mom passed away 25 years ago, father 8 years ago, it actually boils down to a very depressing case of money. I'm poor, brought up poor. Not fussed because money really doesn't buy happiness. I have 3 teens and 1 2ys lasho surprise baby with a partner. I live with my children in my own home and work hard, pay bills, etc., and expect nothing by way of financial help. I especially know not to ask from a partner, because it always comes with additional cost. Be it interest, or hours to work at his. He, on the other hand, has retired early and has made his pile, which is very commendable. However, this makes him particularly mean. He won't use electricity at his despite owning and earning from a wind generator. He rarely buys food, and instead eats ours. He uses my car and van and doesn't refuel, let alone chip in towards tax, mow, repairs, and servicing. He expects me to pay for everything, and so far I have, with a minimal complaint because I'm always worried about being a financial burden, or not being worth the expense. I'm working on these issues, and I know he uses them to his advantage. Now though, Christmas is approaching. This Christmas is my last with my children all together for a while. The 2 eldest have applied to university, and both are likely to get in. The eldest says she'll possibly stay at uni for Christmas hauls. The second munchkin says they're considering the same. My boy might want to spend the next one with my ex-husband. And so, Christmas 2023 might be very different indeed. This is why it's so important this year. For us, Christmas is spending the day together eating the best food we've had all year, homegrown mostly, homemade everything. Usually digging out the old PS console, the Wii, and generally having a good laugh in front of the fire. It's about family and love. For my partner, it's about how much he had to spend on stuff he personally doesn't get the benefit from. So I formally invited him this year but told him that if there was any moaning about money, or how much he hates the hypocrisy of it all, or grumbling about waste, other people's, not ours, we waste nothing haha. He wouldn't be allowed to come. Am I the idiot or is it justified? The top replies. Stop calling this man your partner. This is not a partner. Nothing about this is a partner. Get child support. Just because he retired doesn't mean he should have. He obviously shouldn't have if he is this frugal. The 2-year-old is his and he still treats you like this? Not the idiot. But you are kinda if you don't end it and expose your children to this person more. Second reply. What in God's name does he bring to your relationship? I can't see any reason to be with a mean, grumpy, miser unless I was into self-hatred. You have 5 children, voluntarily. You are giving everything and receiving nothing. You're a doormat. Not the idiot about Christmas, but you are about staying with this nothing man. Third reply. So you're well off. Elderly boyfriend is completely happy with stealing food out of your children's mouths rather than helping feed them? You are the idiot for being with this person and putting your children through that kind of abuse. Second story. Am I the idiot for uninviting my son-in-law and mother-in-law from everything and saying that if my husband continues to pressure me, he will also be uninvited? I am 7 months pregnant with my first child. The baby is also the first grandchild/nephew of my husband's family, which everyone is excited about. I lost my mother and father to the pandemic, being an only child, so there's not much of my family. Since the death of my parents, 1 year ago, my husband's family has welcomed me with open arms as part of them, and I have become very close to my mother-in-law and son-in-law. I always wanted to have a gender reveal and I trusted my son-in-law to organize everything about this. With 3 days to go before the party, I started to receive messages from all my husband's relatives and even close friends congratulating me on my baby being a boy. I went to ask what happened. My son-in-law confessed that she let it slip to my mother-in-law and she told everyone the sex of the baby after knowing because she couldn't hold it and it took proportions beyond what they imagined. Nobody calls me to tell me this. The party was cancelled and I was heartbroken, as well as extremely hurt by the 2 of them. Usually, they accompanied me to the ultrasound, shopping for the baby's room, and my mother-in-law would stay at the time of delivery. But after this breach of trust, I stopped inviting them and asked them to respect my boundaries when they pressured me to go. Honestly, I didn't even send them the baby shower invite, because I really avoided contact with them as much as possible. Because everyone knew before me that it was a boy. My husband started complaining that I was pushing them away because of a mistake that could happen and that I was being harsh. Yesterday he brought up this, and when I said that I still didn't feel comfortable with them, he said, "Soon you'll tell me that my mother won't be able to go to the birth." I think my face showed my response, and he started saying I was being too hard on her because she was just excited and blah blah. I had my limit and said, "If you keep pushing me, it won't just be your mother who won't be in my labor. So either stop or you won't come in." He started to say that I was crossing lines and that he had a right to have this moment. I was taking this with them too far. He slept on the couch and doesn't talk to me more than necessary. Am I the idiot? Well, many are saying it's just a gender reveal. I honestly don't care for that, and I think it's tacky, but my mom was the type who love it, and she always dreamed of having grandchildren. She said she was made to be a grandmother. She can't meet my son or even know I'm pregnant, so I wanted to do something tacky that I don't care for her, not for me. Everyone knew the importance and the reason. I always wanted to have a gender reveal with my mom there, and I didn't have either. Extra. Let's go to some points. At no time did I say that I would never approach them again. But right now, I don't see myself doing that. I already have grief, pregnancy hormones, and day-to-day stress to deal with, so I don't want anything else to bother me. Obviously, I want my husband to be in childbirth. But it's a lot of stress. He brings up this topic all the time, and I doubt he'll stop even at the time of my delivery trying to convince me. Even if he goes, if he says anything about his mother coming, I'll ask him to leave. Third story. Am I the idiot for making my ex a birthday cake even though his girlfriend told me she had already ordered one? I'm an amateur baker and I like to make cakes for people for their birthdays. My ex doesn't like sweet stuff, but our kids like helping me make a cake for him, so I normally make one for him anyway for theirs. This year his girlfriend planned a party for him and she told me she had already ordered him a cake, so I didn't need to make one. I told her that was fine, but my daughter kept asking me when we would make her dad's cake and was upset when I said we wouldn't because she assumed I didn't like my ex and that's why I wouldn't make him one. Since the cake has always been more for the kids than for my ex, I decided to just make him a small one since it's not like he eats cake anyway and I don't want my kids to think I dislike their dad. I told his girlfriend beforehand that I was going to make a small cake and she told me not to and that I couldn't bring it to the party. I told her I had to bring it to the party as that's when the kids would give him his gifts. I offered to come early and give it to him before the other guests arrived, and then they could put it away and nobody else would know about my cake, but she didn't agree with me and repeatedly told me not to bring it. I did take it with me in the end, and now she keeps complaining to mutual friends that I did it on purpose to ruin the party and called her weird for making him a cake after I was told not to. Am I the idiot? Top replies. Red flag, you were clear the cake was from the kids. The girlfriend is asserting her dominance. Any woman who says her boyfriend can't have a cake from his kids needs to think long and hard about being with someone with kids. Freaking out over a small cake from the kids, ruining a party is ridiculous. She is very insecure, not the idiot. Second reply. The wildest part of this is the birthday boy apparently doesn't even like cake, but both his current woman and ex feel so strongly that he needs cakes. Yeah, I know it's a party with guests and kids who all like cake, but it still strikes me as super weird since he is supposedly the guest of honor and there's like zero considerations for what he actually would like as a dessert. Third reply. Not the idiot, it's just a cake. But your children knowing that their parents are on good terms despite a divorce is more important than his new girlfriend's feelings about her store-bought cake. I think your willingness to let her know you were still doing it and offering to bring it at a different time shows it's not about upstaging her and it's really for the kids. Fourth story. Am I the idiot for returning my husband's birthday gift to pay for the birthday cake my daughter baked after he refused to pay her? Basically the title. My daughter, 16, Has a thing for baking. She bakes cakes and some, I said some not all, sweets, and makes money out of it by selling her work to relatives, friends, and supposedly us. My husband's, her stepdad's, 45th birthday took place days ago. He asked my daughter to bake him the birthday cake and she agreed. I told him about paying her, to which he responded with, "PFFF, pay her. Get outta here. I'm her dad." I insisted, seeing she's a yes person and a people pleaser, so won't outright demand the money from him. He said he'd pay, but days went by and he didn't pay her a cent. I decided to go ahead and sell the wristwatch I bought him as his birthday cake and pay her for her. He found out and went off on me. I told him he had enough time and should have paid her $7 before he received the cake. He said that I was teaching her to treat the familial relationship as transactional, and rating her to be materialistic. I explained the time, effort, and even money she put towards making the cake, but he lashed out verbally, calling me an asshole for making this move and for enabling my daughter to expect so much from family that she's supposed to help with nothing in return. He's furious and told almost the whole family about how I took back his birthday gift and returned it. I got enough shame from family members to begin to think that I might be an idiot for how I dealt with this. Am I the idiot? The top replies, "You are the idiot. I have never in my life heard of a person expecting to get paid for making a close relative's birthday cake. I mean, if your daughter owned a bakery, and your husband went in and put in an order for a cake, yes. And seriously, as his wife, it would be normal that you provide the birthday cake, whether you make it yourself or buy one at the local bakery. So if you wanted your daughter to make your husband a cake, and you wanted her to be paid for her work, then you should have paid her, to begin with." Second reply. This is one of the most bizarre posts I've ever seen. I'm not gonna call anyone an idiot because I think a lot of it comes down to gory details about timeframes and who director Excluding asked what of whom, but this is an extremely strange thing to litigate this hard. Who the hell expects a family member to pay them for a birthday cake on their own birthday? Who wages a proxy war about it on behalf of someone who apparently doesn't want payment enough to advocate for it themselves? And then returns a present as revenge instead of just reminding him? But also, who puts their wife on blast to the entire family over a birthday present? I diagnose you all with weird and petty disease. Your sentence is to drink a glass of water and count to 10. Third reply. You are the idiot. If someone really had to pay for your husband's birthday cake, it should have been you. It was his birthday. Do you want him to pay others for his birthday gifts? Who TF pays someone else for their birthday cake, on their birthday? A cake as a gift. Why didn't you pay your daughter? Why didn't your daughter bake it as a gift? How much did you demand for her cake? Everyone is the idiot. You sold the watch, gave the daughter her cut, and kept the rest, and you still don't understand how that's an idiot move. You absolutely destroyed your spouse's birthday, because you're too busy trying to make everything into transactional contracts. Good job. Yule, my daughter did want and expect to be paid. If she intended for it to be for free, then I would have kept my mouth shut. And also, the wristwatch didn't expensive. I kept the rest of the money after giving my daughter her share. Fifth story. Am I the idiot for changing my adoptive son's name and telling off his birth family? Names are changed for anonymity. Of course, my husband and I took in his cousin Sue's newborn due to her and her partner John's addiction issues. It's not a decision I regret. This beautiful boy is the light of my life, but it was a major life change for us. Especially me, as I was the one who gave up my job and my social life to be basically locked up and isolated during COVID with a baby. It was supposed to be temporary while they went to rehab. They never went to rehab nor complied with any of the safety plans set up by CPS. From 2 months on, they have not seen the baby nor supported him in any way. John's family has not been involved either, as they also refused to abide by the safety plan or any of the CPS recommendations. Now 2 years later, my husband and I have full legal custody and CPS has closed the file. We have put forth a petition to change the baby's name. At birth, John and Sue named the boy Stephen to honor John's brother who died of an overdose while partying with John and Sue, who was pregnant and getting high. My husband and I have never ever referred to the baby by that name. We always called him Davy, his middle name, after Sue and my husband's grandfather. So instead of being Stephen David Jones, we are changing it to David Owen Smith. Owen is after my father, who absolutely adores him and accepted him as his grandson from day one.
So here's where I might have ventured to idiot.
My husband thinks I went too far, but I feel they pushed me to the end. John's family found out and blew up my social media and messaging. Not husband's, just mine. Telling me that I have no right to change the name or honor my father because I'm nothing more than a babysitter and I'm not the real mother. I was called a baby thief among more vile accusations. So I snapped and responded back that my son's names will honor good men that he could proudly emulate, not like their junkie relative who was a shit stain on the world, defrauding the government for benefits and stealing from anyone he could and contributed nothing to life or society, and his only accomplishment is that he ordered before he went to prison. Harsh. Yes. But I still don't feel like I'm the idiot. Top answers. Not the idiot. He's your baby legally, physically, emotionally, all ways aside from DNA. There is no babysitting. He's never going back to them. Never. You are mom, period. Block them. Ignore them, if you can move away from the area. They'll eventually give up, but it'll take an annoying amount of time. Second answer. Not the idiot. His bio parents only care because it takes away the last bit of control they assumed they had. If you're doing everything for him and he's legally in your custody, you have the right to change his name. If they don't like it, they can get better and fight in court. Edit for clarity. I did not change the name on my own. My husband was very involved in the decision, as were our two daughters who helped name their baby brother. The name reflects our cohesion as a family. We are all Smiths. And my girls came up with the idea of using Pippi's name because it shows he wasn't just adopted by my husband and me but by an entire family.